Hello, it's me, and today I'll be doing a review on the Bootleg Marvel Legends Venom. And if you're wondering why I bought the Bootleg, it wasn't because I ordered the real one and they sent me the Bootleg. It's because I specifically ordered the Bootleg because even the actual one doesn't look amazing, and I wanted something a bit different to customize, and I always like doing it with bootlegs because it feels a bit better, because I can see if I can make it more impressive than the genuine one. But got this on eBay for about 28 quid. It's quite nice, it's got really good articulation, paint and detail, but I'll go over that a bit more later on. But for the actual figure, I'll go over the box. So if you want to order the actual one, the way you can tell whether it's a bootleg or not is the actual one has little tags at the bottom, so saying like Marvel Legends and all the sort of legal stuff. Also, the genuine one has a little flap at the top there, so it can sort of hang up in like a shop. And I'm pretty sure it has a slightly different shaped front. It isn't a box. It sort of looks like that with the edges chopped off. But it's got Venom still covered by the sticker, which I forgot to take off. It's got a clear inside so you can see the figure. It's a bit weird the background that they went for, just basically a plain sky, which is a bit strange. Like they could have put it in a city, because even the real one doesn't have that. It's just a bit of a weird choice. But then it's got Legends Series on the top. It doesn't say Marvel Legends, it just says Legends Series. On the top it's got Venom. On the side it's got a picture of Venom's face in the film, which looks quite cool. It's got his tongue coming down there. Same on the other side. On the bottom, some stuff. Then on the back it's got a picture of the actual one, which when you look at that compared to this, there's quite a difference, mostly on the face. It's got a brief description of the film, but also in different languages. Down on the bottom, lots of stuff, which I can't be bothered to read. 4+. But yeah, it's quite a simple box. And now onto the figure. So this, for a bootleg, it's very impressive. None of the joints are bad, except the first thing that happened when I got it out of the package is the hands are attached on these little pegs, which allow it to move around. The closed fists are quite stiff, so I put his right hand closed fist in. I tried to move it around, and it snapped, as you can see. So I've drilled into it. The stick that I put in has fallen out already, but I just need to super glue that back in. But it's quite a simple fix. But that was something which annoyed me a bit. But it's got 2 closed hands and 2 open hands. No other accessories besides a different head, which is very nice. So go over the head. This head's the one with the worst paint, because in all of these Venom bootlegs, they all have a big chunk of paint missing from the top of the teeth there. Then all the paint are just painted. All the teeth are just painted absolutely horribly. The paint goes over the actual jaw bit. Big seam line on the top. And the eyes aren't aligned. They forgot to actually paint it into the little bit there. I don't know if you can see. Paint scratched, goes over a bit. It curls in a very peculiar way. And something else which I didn't like was when I got it, the head has no detail. It's really smooth. And after watching the film, I was like, oh, wait a minute, he does just have a plain smooth head, because like you see the detail on the chest, and that's really nice and rough, and then you get the really smooth top of the head, which after seeing the film I was like, oh, he does have a smooth head. But you can also see a couple weird seam lines on the top. But the head connects in on a simple ball joint, so I'll go over this one in a second, but just pop it off. It's quite a big ball joint. They just get it. You need to properly force it on till it clicks. They can look around. This is my preferred head. Then with this head, the teeth on this one, his gums aren't actually fully painted. As you can see on the top, that's still black. In the gums, it doesn't go all the way to the back, and the teeth aren't fully painted either. The tongue's quite impressive. There's no paint slop on that. And then at the back of his mouth, he's got this tiny little ring thing at the back of his mouth. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's just something, I don't know what. But on the top of his mouth, if you can see, there's some nice sculpted detail. Tongue's very nicely sculpted. It's got all the little lines and little ridgy bits underneath with the big muscle going down the middle. But yeah, the teeth on this one, actually looking at them now, they're worse. They're basically just a plain white like the eyes. These ones are a yellow colour, and these are just a plain white block, which looks horrible. But the thing is, they've still got the same weird bit on this eye. That one goes a bit further. But you can see that's the one bit, and it's always this side that scrapes for some reason. But something that I would have liked is I'm not a big fan of the huge tongue. Like, I might make it so you can actually take the tongue out, because I would prefer it just roaring without the tongue. I think actually looks nicer. It's nice just to have him standing up like that. But if you want to do an animation, him roaring, it looks better without a tongue. But it's got the same ball to attach in. And now, I forgot to do the hands. They're just a plain black. You can actually see the sculpted veins on the top of the hands, and then this is just completely off the paint. But then this one, the top of the hand on this one's actually painted better than this one. It goes slightly closer to the veins, but I like that it isn't just a flat hand with just painted veins. I like that they've actually sculpted them on. Now I'll go over the body. So first, the neck. I really like the detail they've done with the neck, with all like the tendons and stuff just below. It's got the big muscly shoulder bits. Don't know what that muscle's called. But then again, you can see the detail on his chest. They've actually sculpted the veins, but the paint is nowhere near them, as you can see. It's got a couple big splodges here and there, which doesn't look very nice. And then on the back, this was something which I only noticed recently, which on the back, it appears that maybe they took this out the mold too early and someone accidentally put their shirt on top of it, because that looks a lot like the material of a t-shirt, well, or a jumper. So that's a bit of it's a bit peculiar when I found that. But then it's got all the really, really incredibly sculpted muscle structure all the way down the biceps. On the arms, again, they've got the painted veins, but they're not actually sculpted. Oh, wait, no, there's one there, but these aren't there at all. Again, with the hands really smudged. They're not really nice and thin. This hand I was amazed by, because like, you see that hand compared to this hand, that's really smudged. That's actually painted nicely, which I was quite surprised about. Then it's got the same white on his tricep. Yeah, triceps, I'm pretty sure. Then this area, just below the chest, has no detail whatsoever. It barely got any texture. They've still sculpted all his muscles and little belly button and stuff, but there is zero detail. It's basically just completely smooth. Like, compared to that really nice rough texture on the chest, that's got absolutely nothing. Same with just the very tops of the legs, which I found a bit peculiar. But then from there down, it's got really nice detail. It's also a slightly different shade of black. But then he's got extremely muscly legs with that same nice rough detail. Then the calves, again, nicely sculpted with all the veins and tendons and stuff. Then he's got His little toes, which are very spaced out. But overall, the detail on this guy is quite incredible, except for that section, which there's nothing. But for a bootleg, it's very good. Unlike the bootleg Monster Arts 2019, which there's just the most horrific lack of detail. But the paint for this guy as well, very plain, simple, just the only 4 colours: black, white, pink, and yellowy white. And that is it. There's no other paint, there's no dry brushing or washes, which I guess he doesn't really need, because in the film he is just a plain black. But it would have been nice to see a bit of dry brushing, even on the actual one, just to bring out some of the details. And for the articulation, the head, ball joint up there, ball joint down there, so you can look up, down, you can move his head a little bit that and that and that way and that way, can spin all the way around both ways, so you can look left and right very nicely. Shoulders are a swivel hinge, so they can go all the way around and that far in, that far out. The biceps are on a swivel, nothing special. The elbows are a double hinge, so they can go that far in and that far out. The hands are another swivel hinge, so they can move that far up, that far down, spin all the way around. And yes, he can T-pose. Then they've got 2 joints for the waist. So the top is a ball joint, so you can look down and up like that. You can spin all the way around, then, and you can move side to side quite nicely. The waist is on a hinge, so all together he can look that far down and that far up, which is very, very impressive. The hips are on swivel hinges, so they can go all the way round if in the right position. No, they can't, I don't think. Nope, they can. Then at the top there's a swivel, so they can go all the way around. Knees are another double hinge, so they can go all the way inwards and all the way out. The ankles are on a swivel hinge, so they can go straight and then on his tippy toes, and they can also spin all the way around. But for the articulation, like I said, it's very impressive for this guy, because I was expecting him to, for his wrists to be falling off a lot, because I thought they were ball joints. I don't know if they are on the original, but they're really nice solid hinges. So yeah, honestly, if you're wanting a Venom figure to customize, I would get this one, because it's a bit more of a challenge than the actual one, which I don't really think needs much extra customizing, except maybe the teeth on the actual one. As you can see on this, they are just plain. It would be good to put a black wash in the mouth, which is what I'm going to do for this guy. But before I go on to the size comparison, I'm going to be making more accessories for this guy. I've already made 2. Just as soon as I got him, I was like, oh, I've got these things, I could make him some weapons. So they're hand accessories, so I made him a sort of spear thing. Don't really know, it's just a bit of excess fast cast that dried like that. So I sculpted a claw on the end and hot glued. Then I've also made a little hand spear for him. Both of these I need to paint white, but I'm quite pleased with them. And this does leave marks, it's quite sharp. But now on to the size comparison, if I can get him to stand up. So I don't have any other Marvel figures. I just chose some of the other humanoid-ish figures that I've got. So I chose the NECA King Kong, who scales quite nicely with him, round about the same size. As you can see, yeah, almost the exact same height. Then I got the NECA Pacific Rim Gypsy Danger, who is ever so slightly taller than him because of his little rim at the top. Then I chose I can't remember the name for this Gundam, but my model kit Gundam, the review is quite a recent one, so you'll be able to find it, but he's fairly small. And then finally, this is who I compare all figures to, no matter what, which is the NECA Godzilla 1954. But yeah, he's quite a tall figure. He's very muscular, so he's quite wide. But yeah, I'm looking forward to customizing this guy. Mainly just a repaint. I'm not going to be sculpting anything onto him, like doing anything with the heads, except like I said, I might make it so you can take the tongue in and out. But yeah, that about does it for this review. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.